Nope, we're here. Okay, we're here.
We froze for a second there.
We did freeze. I don't know what's going to catch and what's not, but hello.
Hi.
I feel like get closer. I feel like we should like start off with like a kiss or something just to prove that we love each other.
Do we love each other?
I don't know. Is this camera worthy?
Kiss me behind the microphone.
That's just evidence that we're a real married couple for all you haters.
I'm not wearing my ring.
Literally nobody ever said anything about it. I just felt self-conscious for half a second there. I just watched a TikTok video where Ryan Gosling was on a talk show and they asked him what's his favorite kind of sandwich. And you know what he said?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Yep. So now I'm curious, what's your favorite kind of sandwich?
That
was clever, by the way. Ice cream sandwich.
That was like very like quick answer too.
Yeah.
I saw that video yesterday. Get with me. Get on my level.
My bad. Okay, so
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You don't know? Not like grilled cheese, pastrami. You've been having a lot of Philly cheesesteaks lately.
I have been. I'm on like a Philly cheesesteak high right now.
Subs? A hoagie?
No.
How many more sandwiches could I name?
Thousands.
Probably, yeah. PB&J?
Yeah.
A fluffernutter? Those are so good.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite sandwich. What about you?
Right now, probably like a BLT with avocado that you dip in restaurant style ranch.
Cool.
But it has to be restaurant style, restaurant quality. Otherwise, it's like
not as good.
Meh. Womp womp. When I used to work at Great Harvest, there was a sandwich that I would help make, and it was the BLT.
Mm-hmm.
And they had
love a good BLT.
It was like a red pepper garlic butter. So good.
That does sound really
good.
And
then I would put cheddar on it and toast it and then dip it in ranch. Oh, and avocado. I would dip it in ranch. And I dream about that sandwich. But we don't have a Great Harvest near us. And even if we did, I don't know if I could like be specific enough with my alterations because I'm like a pansy when it comes to ordering food sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just give me the BLT. And then I get it. I'm like, it's not actually what I wanted. I wanted it with these things on it.
Uh-huh. That's one thing that like I always struggle with because whenever we go to a restaurant that we go to like often, I'm just like, hey, I kind of want to try this. Like, let's see how it is. But like, you always run the risk of what if it's not good?
Right.
You're paying for food that you don't like.
Right. Or what if they mess it up? And you're like,
and stuff like
and you're
that.
so specific and then they mess it up and then you just kind of like feel like, well, that spiked my anxiety for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just one of those things like that. I'm one of those people that usually just go with my usual, and every now and then I'll branch out and try something new. But for the most part, I stick with my.
Speaking of sandwiches, we've been kind of branching out when it comes to sandwich shops, which is really funny that we're talking about this right now. But Cheyenne just got a Jersey Mike's, and my dad told me it's his favorite sub shop. And they're not bad, but I wouldn't say right now they're my favorite. I think my favorite sub comes from Firehouse right now. That Jamaican jerk one.
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
But, yeah. Also, another fun story. When I worked at Great Harvest, a lady came in. She was a regular. And she would always, I'm not making this up, she'd always order a peanut butter and cheddar sandwich. I'm not kidding.
I believe you. That's just weird.
And every time she would order it, she would like plead her case. Like, don't judge me. I swear it's good. And then she'd always be like, you should try it. I can't for the life of me remember if she also put jelly on it or if it was just peanut butter and cheese. But it also could have had jelly. But apparently it was like a pregnancy craving of hers. And then 20 years later, she's still eating it like weekly. So, yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of just make it at home.
I did try it though. I don't remember exactly what it tasted like, but I remember being like not super impressed, but also not as grossed out as I thought.
Fair enough.
I'm not curious enough though to try it again.
What's the weirdest sandwich that you've ever had, like heard of someone having?
That.
Okay.
Or anything with like anchovies.
Oh yeah.
That's just a gross thing to me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very fishy, like salty fish taste.
So yeah, that just grosses me out. I couldn't do it. So hi. Thanks for this
little rant
sandwich talk with me. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good.
How are you
good.
guys?
Yeah. We'll wait. Oh, I should look at the camera. I always do that. I look at us on the screen instead of the camera up there.
Yeah.
Still waiting. Just kidding.
We're going to assume that you're all doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any news?
I don't think that we have any news ourselves, but
Okay.
I read something earlier and I can't remember what it was. So
That's
not
really-
really that news, but we can eat these on camera.
Should we? Oh my gosh. You guys, we just got interrupted because Amara barked. Someone came up our stairs. We live in an apartment. And someone came up the stairs and our dog barked. And it was a package, and it is the new Oreos, the Sour Patch Kid Oreos that they just put out. And I have been dying to try them because they are like so bizarre. Look at that!
Oreo, sponsor us. I know you already said that.
I love Oreos. Fun fact about me, I'm Oreo crazed. And these are their new flavor. I saw someone say that they either taste nothing like Oreos, nothing like Sour Patch Kids, or they suck. Like, they're horrible. Should we try them?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys.
I try to avoid the munching on camera because I know some of our listeners hate that.
I hate that. We'll test it out, and like if we have to, we'll cut out the sounds for you guys, or like fast forward and just give you a review. Hold on, I gotta smell it.
Do you need milk with it?
No, I'll just taste it. So it definitely tastes like, or it smells a little sour. Vanilla cookie.
We'll probably have to cut out the sound. Can you hear me chewing? I can hear me chewing. And it's really loud.
I think I'm gonna finish this later. Do you want to
finish mine now?
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They actually did a really good job of nailing the Sour Patch Kid flavor with an Oreo.
Yeah. Not bad.
I don't think they're my favorite Oreos, but it also kind of gives it a nice little zing.
It reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it.
Those are weird. Honestly, if you guys want to try it, just like get a Sour Patch Kid and cram it in between a golden Oreo. Just kidding, though. These are, I feel like that would be more of an intense flavor. But this is a little bit more subtle than that.
Yeah. I need more Sour Patch Kids in them. I love Sour Patch Kids. They're like one of my favorite snacks.
That was so weird.
Satisfied now?
I'm very excited. I'm probably gonna like eat a whole row of these once we're done, to be honest.
Cool. Well, enough of our food talk. So there was, I did remember what it was thanks to my news app. But there is an upcoming solar storm. Have you heard of this yet? So there's an upcoming solar storm that's, I don't know when it's supposed to hit.
I feel like when we do these things, we're like on the news. Like we are self-proclaimed news people.
Yes.
Sharing what's happening around the world. And in a way we kind of are, like we're reporters.
Yeah.
And we're, I guess, self-proclaimed journalists.
We're historians that aren't that good at history.
No, we're fine with history. We're not that good at pronunciations.
Particularly German.
And the word
We've learned that. What?
And the word mange.
Mangy, you mean? I'm sticking by that. Mangy. People probably just like shook their heads at that, but
oh my gosh.
I'm sticking to my guns.
Well, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So yes, there's going to be a solar storm slamming into Earth, and
what does that mean? Like, it's not like a meteor shower, is it?
No, it's kind of like a no, it's not a meteor shower. It's like a not really a solar flare, but like kind of a solar flare, but like a solar storm.
That does not answer my question. I don't know what a solar flare is. Is.
It's when the sun flares.
So the sun just gets like brighter?
No.
Like explodes a little bit?
No, there's like, I don't know how to, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how to like explain it, but like parts of the sun, like, you know how the sun is like moves and stuff like that, has all their, its components and stuff. Every now and then, like the sun will emit like a larger kind of wave of its contents.
Oh, sorry, hiccups there. Good.
And then that's a solar flare. But the solar storm is like multiple of those.
So what does that do to us then?
Well, for one, it can mess with electricity. So there might be like power outages and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Also, apparently, some places in the United States will also be able to see like the the Northern Lights, the aurora.
That happened.
It already did happen?
Yeah. Like your aunt posted about it.
Oh.
In Tennessee, she saw the Northern Lights.
It probably already happened then. I just missed it. Cool. I didn't look too much into this, but I saw that. I'm like, oh, I should look into that. But I didn't see like
that
what date it was supposed to be.
That makes sense why people were seeing it, because I've seen posts about it like all throughout the Midwest and Tennessee.
There you go.
That's so cool. I was wondering like how that was even possible.
Yeah. Solar storms.
So cool.
I'm really sad I missed it. I don't think we would have been able to see it, but
the sky is so cool. Like, I personally don't think I would ever want to be an astronaut just because of all the risks that are involved, and like I like Earth. But space is so fascinating. And I always knew that. I did. But I really feel like I started to appreciate it once I started dating and married you. Because you love space.
I love space.
He loves it.
Almost as much as I love you. You want to know another cam kiss?
Do you want some crackers with that cheese? Man,
we have crackers, you
guys. I love the cheese.
Maybe we can have that as our next episode snack.
We do like ASMR, like chewing videos.
Just kidding. No, I hate those so much.
I hate them so much. I don't even think I could actually like feel good about myself making them.
Nope.
You know. Anyways, this has been a really fun intro.
How long? 13 minutes. We're killing it.
All right. Do you have a story for me?
I do. So I was going to try to look up jokes for this, and I'm kind of still trying. That's why I'm like looking at my phone. Yeah. But finding jokes for this was kind of difficult because this is another story, spoiler alert, that happens during like the World Wars and everything, like World War I, World War II.
Does it take place in Germany?
No.
Oh.
It does not. This one does not. There are very little German names in here.
Oh, good. Good. So we have a chance is what you're trying to say.
Yes. So I was trying to look on Reddit for like some like jokes that soldiers might have told during that time, just to kind of keep it like, applicable to the topic. And these ones, I'm guessing they're only funny to World War I, World War II soldiers.
Let's hear it. Let's hear an example.
So they did a lot of kind of song renditions, so to say, of their own. And they are pretty crude.
Are you going to sing for us?
No.
Aww.
No, that is not something I do. Yeah, some of them have a little bit of profanity. But for example, there was one popular song from Paul A. Rubin, I think is what it was, called "We Don't Want to Lose You."
Okay.
And then the song lyrics goes as follows: "Oh, we don't want to lose you, but we think you ought to go for the king and country both." Oh, this isn't a funny one. This is like a call to arms. Let me find a funny one. Here's one. Trench music is what it's called. So there's this one. This is to the tune of "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean."
Okay.
I've been stuck in the saddle for hours. I've stuck in it long as I could. I've stuck it and stuck it until I said, "F it." My butthole is not made of wood. Sergeant, oh, give back my stirrups to me. Sergeant, oh, give back my stirrups to me.
I can just picture a whole line of soldiers singing this all together.
Right. A couple of there's a lot of these. Again, a lot of them include profanity, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, but he's not like me. He doesn't just blast it on the podcast.
Yeah, Kourtney.
Myles, after last week's episode, he's like, we have to mark this as explicit now.
I did, and we did.
That was so funny.
So this next one, this one's a joke. So In digging new trenches and dugouts, bodies and bits of this isn't a song. This is just like a joke, kind of like prefacing the joke. Bodies and bits of bodies were unearthed and put into sandbags with the soil that were sent back down a line of men concealing their work from German eyes, waiting for any new activity in our ditches. And then this is like how the joke goes. Bit of Bill, said the leading man, putting in the leg. Another bit of Bill, he said, unearthing a hand. Bill's ugly mug, he said at a later stage in the operations when a head was found. And then it says, as told afterwards, that little episode in the trenches seemed immensely comic. Generals chuckled over it. Chaplains treasured it. So apparently people found that funny.
Wow, what a time war must have been.
Right.
Because that's horrifying.
Next one. This one is from a Reddit user who, it says deleted, but it says, my grandfather was an officer who trained out of Camp Devens, Massachusetts in 1917 and fought alongside British forces in the Great War, or, World War One. While looking up a few sayings and jokes, I recall him saying, I found the following worth reading. Breakfast. I'm so hungry I could eat a mattress. We kind of have our own versions of that these days.
Yeah.
Why is it? Next one is, why is it taking so long to get me some flapjacks? Are they being made in Serbia or something?
Okay.
Bathroom humor is always dig a trench twice as deep as you need it. You'll thank me the first time you need to relieve yourself and can't find the crapper. And then, did you know a single sheet of toilet paper can be used 3 times?
Oh, no, it can't.
Once to clean your glasses, once to blow your nose, and once to wipe your bum. That's recycling.
I mean, okay, that's technically not wrong, but I also wouldn't carry it around.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it all at the same time, like in that order, then maybe.
Not the reverse order.
Oh my gosh. Your glasses would not be clean after that.
Last one on this little thread is, if bread, well, not the thread, but this little comment. If bread is the staff of life, what is the life of the staff? One long loaf. I don't get it, but there we go. But those are some jokes.
Thank you for that.
You're
now tell
welcome.
us your story, sir.
So, my story. Let's go back to 1100. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I thought you said World Wars.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So, this is a story about a guy who is known as the Unkillable Soldier.
Ooh.
Doesn't this sound intriguing?
It does.
So the story is about Adrian Carton De Wiart.
Oh, his parents were really ambitious with that one.
Oh, there's another name in here that's like 3 times as long as that, which
Seriously?
we'll get to.
Wow, okay.
He was born on May 5th, 1880 in Brussels.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. May the 5th be with you, as they say. I'm just kidding.
That's not what they say.
I know. He was
That's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was the eldest son of aristocrats Leon Constant Ghislaine Carton De Wiart and Ernestine Winzig. His father was a lawyer and a magistrate. Okay. When Adrian was 6 years old, his father, picked up the family and moved to Cairo just to be part of like the Cairo's mixed court.
Okay.
Research on that topic, though, on that move, actually showed that like the parents, they had actually like separated earlier that year. Some people were saying like it was after their mother's death, which she died like soon after. But yeah, they apparently separated earlier that year that they moved. Mm-hmm. And also this is so like Leon could get experience in the mixed courts of Cairo.
And he's 6?
Adrian is 6, yep.
Okay.
The main character of the story.
Okay.
Also, they all learned Arabic while they were there, so...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the Carton De Wiart family were Roman Catholic, and Adrian was sent to a Catholic boarding school by his evil stepmother. I'm just kidding. She wasn't evil. I'm just kidding. But she did send him off to a Roman Catholic boarding school called the Roman Catholic Oratory School in England. And from there, he went to Balliol College, Oxford. He ended up abandoning his studies in 1899 so he could join the British Army.
Oh, okay.
He joined under a fake name and age, claiming to be called Trooper Carton at age 25, and he was only 20 years old at the oldest, in reality.
Was there like an age cutoff that he wasn't meeting?
No, I think it was like 18 to something. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say like... Yeah. So he told them he was 20? How old was he?
He was 25. He was at most 20.
Oh.
Yeah. So on his application, he's like, I'm 25, but that was a lie.
Oh, okay.
When he enlisted, it was this was somewhere around the beginning of the Second Boer War in Vietnam, Korea. I don't remember the Second Boer War. Let me look it up. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right either. Oh, I'm an idiot. It was South Africa.
Okay.
I know geography. Second Boer War. So he ended up fighting in that, and once his father found out that he enlisted in the army, he was like livid at this kid. But he's like, you know what, just do it. We'll get over it. Do what makes you happy, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But during the war, Adrian didn't have like any like really major accomplishments, but that doesn't mean that he didn't have anything noteworthy happen to him. Just wait. So he was wounded in the stomach and groin in South Africa in the early stages of the war and was sent home due to injury.
Okay.
So he's wounded in the stomach
and in the groin.
And in the groin. So if you're a guy, you know how painful that would be.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what injuries it was, but it was...
Does it explain how he got them?
No, just during battle, like shot and stuff like that.
I was waiting for like a punchline.
No. No, the punchline comes later.
Okay.
Well, kind of. That just adds on to what happened to him. But anyway, he briefly went back to Oxford, and also there were like a little side note. Do you remember our episode 65 about Tutankhamun, his tomb, and Howard Carter?
Yeah.
So the brother of there's like one of those like connections, like my brothers, cousins, sisters, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, so Adrian's friend, his name was Aubrey. Yeah, that's a boy's name. Where was it? Aubrey. Where did he go? Herbert.
Okay.
Aubrey Herbert. And he was the brother of one of those people that were present during the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb.
That's exciting.
So, yeah. If you haven't listened to that episode 65. Yep.
Connecting people.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I like that.
I like it when they all come together. Adrian was commissioned soon after returning to Oxford in the 2nd Imperial Light Horse, which is just kind of like a little brigand infantry kind of thing.
Okay.
And was given another commission as 2nd Lieutenant in the 4th Dragoon Guards, and then was transferred to India in 1902. Since he was like pretty seriously injured in that first war he was a part of, he started to like realize that he needed to get in better shape if he's going to be a part of these wars, so he doesn't get injured as easily.
Makes sense.
So he started taking jogging and running and walking, and also numerous sports he played regularly. He especially enjoyed shooting and pig sticking, which is boar hunting. From a little bit of research, because I didn't know what that was. Historians. Just kidding.
See?
So after South Africa, he was promoted to supernumerary lieutenant.
Sure.
On 16th of July, 1904, and he was appointed as aide-de-camp, kind of is like a personal assistant, and
Okay.
To the commander-in-chief. And that was a year later. His responsibilities also have they gave him time to do some recreational activities like his sports, his running, walking, stuff like that.
Sure.
And polo. He played polo. That's the one like on the horses and like the sticks.
So he's working, obviously. Mm-hmm. He's in the army.
Yep.
And is he actively like in battle or kind of going back and forth?
At this point, not yet.
Okay, I was going to say but wars are happening.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Not during this time, at least for him. There are probably some kind of battles and stuff being fought during this time, but
I was going to say it's such a weird thing to think that while all these really serious things are happening, he's like clocking off and going and playing polo. It's like
right. No, it wasn't that serious. Like they didn't have him not deported, drafted or anything like that.
Sure. Okay.
So during this whole time as well, so even though he was in the British Army, he was still considered like a Belgian citizen or Belgian subject. Until on the 13th of September 1907, he took an oath of allegiance to King Edward VII and was henceforth formally naturalized as a British subject. In 1908, he married Countess, this is the long name, He married Countess Friederich, German names. Maria Caroline, Henriette, Rosa, Sabina, Franziska, Fugger von Babenhausen.
So here's my theory on her name. The mom had a list of baby names and then was like, let's just use them all. I can't pick a favorite. Let's just use them all.
I dig it.
Can you imagine if we did that?
No. My kid would hate us.
Well, and they wouldn't flow either.
Yeah, these don't flow.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm saying that's my theory, is that she had a list from her, like, when she was 12 years old or something like that, because that's how all girls do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's finally like, you know what? This is the baby. This is the baby. And she's getting all the names.
Yeah. Like, get it all out with.
Yeah.
All done with. Mm-hmm. Over and done with. There we go. Anyway, so Adrian and his new wife, whose name I'm not going to repeat, they had 2 daughters together. So, yeah,
short
Same.
names?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The first daughter's name, I didn't write them down. It was like
but they're not as
Elvina
long.
or something like that. That's probably way off.
Oh, but you said same.
Anita. What did I say?
Elvina.
Kind of close. I didn't find any record of like the other daughter's name, which is why I didn't mention their names. But yeah, no, I did. So when World War I broke out, Adrian was already en route to help out a low-level war in British Somalia.
Sure.
During an attack on an enemy fort, Adrian was again wounded, this time getting shot twice in the face, causing him to lose his left eye and a part of his left ear.
Oh my gosh.
In February 1915, he's still alive at this point. He was
he's the Unkillable Soldier.
He's the Unkillable Soldier. In February,
he's just gonna be like mingled like our sponges after using them for a month, like those scrub daddies. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean. In February 1915, he headed for France to fight on the Western Front, successfully commanding 3 infantry battalions and a brigade. During this part of the war as well, he was wounded 7 more times. He lost his left hand, and this part I didn't really understand the phrasing that they said in the article, but this is what how it's phrased: pulling off his fingers when a doctor refused to remove them.
He pulled off his own fingers?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. That's why I'm like kind of confused, like how that happened. Just like go and just like pull them off. Was his arm already like gone, and he like pulled them off that way, just because it sounded like fun? I don't know. But I didn't understand the phrasing of it.
So he lost his left hand.
Yes.
But he still has a full functioning right hand with 5 fingers?
Yes. Yes, his right hand is in great shape.
Lopsided at this point, because he got shot through the left ear and the left eye and now the left hand.
Some might say that he was all right. Just came up with that now.
No, you did not.
No, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Hand on heart.
You know, it's funny. He's like one of those guys where, like, from one side he looks totally normal, then he turns the other way and he's like, eh.
It's funny you say that. A lot of his portraits are like his right profile.
Well, yeah, because he's like, don't look at this side. This is not my good side. This is the camera ready one.
It's kind of like a Phantom of the Opera kind of thing, where it's like he just covers the left part of his face.
Sure, yeah.
He did wear an eye patch.
So, really quick side tangent. There's a comedian, I don't know his name, but he doesn't have arms or legs. So he's just torso and head. And he's a comedian, so he's telling the story about how he has one of those cars where he could like drive it using like a little remote or something like that. And he's at a light, and this girl looks over at him, and he's like, "Oh, I've got her attention." So he with his mouth grabs the seatbelt and looses it. He looks at her and then just like rotates in the seat. And so all she sees is like a rotating torso because she can't tell that he's missing limbs. And he was like, "That was my favorite day." I'm like, oh, the humor. I love it.
Some people, they're great. I love it when we kind of talked about this last week, but like when people can
joke about their own ailments. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyway, where were we? Pulled off his own fingers. So he was shot through the skull and ankle during the Battle of Somme.
His poor head.
Leave
his head alone.
Through the hip at the Battle of Passchendaele, through the leg at Cambrian, and through the ear at Arras.
By this point, he's probably just like, oh, just the ear? Okay, no, we're good. Just keep going. This one will
I still got my nose. I can still smell. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Order on 15th of May 1915. Then in 1916, he was awarded the Victorian Cross, which was the highest award for gallantry in combat to be awarded in the British forces.
Wow.
At this point, he was only 36 years old.
Holy cow.
So he's like making a name for himself.
He's got more holes than Swiss cheese.
Belgian, Adrian. I don't know. That wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. So he received many other awards and like promotions on top of that during the years 1916 through 1918. And then 3 days before World War I ended, Adrian was promoted to temporary brigadier general and gained quite a reputation as a quote-unquote fire eater. Basically, he was known for like getting things done, charging ahead first. People were like kind of afraid of him, but in the sense that he was like very like headstrong.
Obviously had very few fears because he'd been shot so many times.
Yeah.
So when you say fire eater, that was just a
name,
figure of speech.
Right? I don't think he ever ate fire.
I was gonna say mentioned. He's already got the holes. Like, might as well just throw fire in there too. Yeah, see which hole smoke comes out of this time.
Yep.
It's like if I cover all of them, do you think my ankle will start smoking today? Like, I don't know.
Maybe. No, there was one point. So like while he was like with this promotion and everything, that like a lot of the troops were kind of like afraid because he was also known for being strict. He was a very laid back, laid back and strict is kind of contradictory, but he was very outgoing. He was like very friendly, but also like very like strict. Like there was one soldier whose bootlace wasn't tied right, and like he saw that, missing an eye and everything. He saw that bootlace, and he's like, "Fix it."
That's so funny, and it's really funny to me that those are the things people get strict about. And I'm sure there's a reason, but like Logan and Kaylee. So my brother and his wife went to basic training and tech school, and they give you like disciplinary like notes, I think. And Kaylee got in trouble for having bunny ears on her sneakers. Like her shoes were tied. I'm like, how else are you supposed to do it? And I truly don't know. Probably have them like tucked in or something. But every time she tells that story, I'm just like, this is why I don't go to military school, because like I would die.
Yeah.
Truly.
Then don't go to basic.
Okay,
don't join the military. So at this time as well, Poland was in the middle of like 4 different wars. There was the Polish-Russian War, there was the Polish-Ukrainian War, the Polish-Lithuanian War, and the Polish-Czech border conflict.
Jeez, Poland get together.
Poland's kind of like this, like the high school cheerleader that all the heads of the teams are fighting over. So like, also, Russia's the quarterback, and then Ukraine is like the basketball captain or whatever they have. You get the point.
And Lithuania, what are they?
Baseball.
That's a fun word to say. Lithuania.
What were you saying?
That was it. Lithuania was a fun word to say.
Yeah. That's how I picture it. Everyone's just fighting over Poland. Poor Poland. So Adrian, he was sent to Poland after the war to be like second in command of the British Poland military, soon being the general's replacement. There's like a mission that the British military would just they send a team to Poland to help out and stuff like that, like negotiate whatever.
Okay.
Part of the mission was to make peace between Poland and Ukraine, which was unsuccessful. Adrian returned to Paris to report to the British Prime Minister and the General Sir Henry Wilson, who was like one of the top dogs during World War One. It was just a report on what was happening. The Prime Minister was pretty apathetic towards Poland, didn't really care about them. And so he refused to send Adrian, his, troop over there, any like military supplies. Because he's just like, we don't care about that.
Sure, yeah.
But next on Adrian's list of tasks was to head to the front line of the Polish-Russian War, which was like a literal hotspot for fighting. Here, he was more of like a kind of diplomatic / war strategy consultant, so to say. People were like asking for his advice on what to do. And he would like make suggestions, just stuff like that. Adrian ended up developing a sympathy for Poland and its people, which again led to more disagreements between him and the British Prime Minister and such. But the Poles did appreciate his efforts. Why'd you laugh?
Just because, I don't know, I just keep picturing him with like all the holes in his body. Like, I'm sure they heal up and stuff, but like he's literally like a SpongeBob in my mind right now.
Okay. He became close with the Polish leaders, and they collaborated on certain predictions in the wars. Adrian brought the concerns to the Polish leaders to Winston Churchill, and Churchill, he was like more than willing to help out. He was more sympathetic for these people. And he was able to send some like material and stuff to Poland.
Nice.
So good job, Winston Churchill. On the 27th of July in 1920, Adrian was appointed as an aide-de-camp to the king. And in August, he was active when the Red Army was at the gates of Warsaw. While on his observation train, he was attacked by a group of Red cavalry, and he fought them off with nothing but his revolver.
Wow.
There was actually one point, this is kind of funny, he like fell off the train, or like somehow fell off the train, but like quickly got back on board. And I played that in my mind just to see how it was. He's like over there shooting some of these, red guys, and then he like falls off. He's like, whoop. Runs out of the train and just like hops back on, continue shooting. That's how I picture it. I don't know if that's accurate, but
this is fun. Like, he really can't die.
Yeah, he's unstoppable. He's great. The Poles ended up winning that war between them and the Russians, and Adrian was again promoted a few times, then officially retired from the army on the 19th of December with an honorary rank of Major General.
Major General? That's a reference to How I Met Your Mother. Ted and Robin play a game where every time they hear the word major or general or like anything like that with
any like military rank, yeah,
they do like a little salute, even if it's like, oh, this major event.
Like, it's just general knowledge.
General knowledge, yeah.
I have a kernel stuck in my teeth.
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
It's funny. Anyway, I was hoping you would do that when I was writing this, because I did that same thing in my head. I almost did it out loud, but you were sitting right there. I'm like, oh, better shut up.
I do that a lot, though. I've been saying it a lot, like whenever I hear that phrase or any of those phrases. So, I got you.
Cool. Thanks for getting me. So, Adrian's now retired. He spent the next 15 years in Poland, staying on a 500,000 acre estate.
So a country.
Basically. Poland's a big country, but like that's a lot of land.
It's like, here is South Dakota. It's yours. All yours. You can just have it.
Happy birthday. So this estate, it was actually inherited by the Polish prince Karol Mikołaj Radziwiłł, whom Adrian befriended while he was in Poland. That was a hard name.
I know. I was making fun of you with my face. So
yeah, I got it. But yeah, he and Adrian became real good friends. And this guy's just like, have 500,000 acres. I'm like, I'll take it.
Have Minnesota. Just kidding. I don't know how big that is, but that's a lot of acres. It's more than I have.
Same. I mean, we are in the same kind of, anyway. So this prince, like I said, he inherited it after his uncle was killed. The end. So in my notes, it says he inherited this after the prince's uncle was killed bumpy communists. But I think it's supposed to say by some communists.
Bumpy communists?
Yeah, it's a little typo.
Bumpy communists.
Title. I'm just kidding. So needless to say, Adrian loved retirement. There was like, he said not a day went by that he didn't go hunting or some kind of like sport.
Sure. You got a whole state to yourself. You got to get out there and do things.
Right. But yeah, that was like for 15 years straight. He just loved to get out.
Was he with his family?
Yeah.
At least? Okay, good.
His family was there too.
Good.
After 15 years...
Or the guy got a break. He actually got a break from being like target practice for everyone.
Right. He was using animals as target practice. But yeah, he would do like fishing, hunting, that kind of stuff.
I meant like that he was the target practice.
Yeah.
He was the target.
I got what you meant.
Oh, okay.
But I was just saying like animals are his target.
Sure.
Anyway. So after 15 years, you know what was happening during that time?
What?
After like these 15 years of retirement?
The Great
World
Depression?
War II.
Oh, duh.
So yeah, World War II. This was in this part of the story is in 1939. He was recalled and appointed to his old job as head of the British military mission in Poland. On September 1st, Nazi Germany attacked. Then September 17th, the Soviets allied with Germany, and they kind of like attacked Poland from the east side.
Right.
Or I guess for the audience, east side. The Soviet forces, they were quick to take over control of Poland, and also like with that, all of Adrian's possessions. So like all of his guns, all of his fishing rods, his clothing, his furniture, like everything was taken. They did like keep it in some kind of museum for a little bit, but then like during one of the fights, it was destroyed.
Oh, so that's a bummer.
All of his stuff is gone, but he was pretty positive about it, saying they didn't take away his memories. So that's sweet.
Does he want some crackers? Just kidding.
I want crackers.
One more shot to the head, and then they would take away his memories.
Yeah, if they hit the right spot.
Yeah, he's been shot so many times in the head. I'm surprised he still has them.
Right. So Adrian, as well as the rest of his mission and the Polish government, they evacuated with the Germans and Soviets, like, you know, hot on the tail. So his car convoy was actually attacked by Luftwaffe, which is like a air infantry kind of thing.
Okay.
Or an air squadron.
Sure.
German air squadron. Anyway, and they killed the wife of one of his aides. So that's sad. In April 1940, Adrian was summoned to Namsos in Norway, and his orders were to take the city of Trondheim, which was about 125 miles to the south of Namsos. He flew to Namsos, but during flight, they were attacked by a German fighter, and his aide was wounded and had to be evacuated. Also, the Luftwaffe bombed the town of Namsos, so that happened as well. So they didn't really have like a base of operations anymore. But that didn't stop Adrian. Instead he managed to like take all of his his troop and his forces and like go down the mountains or up the mountains or whichever direction on the mountains they went, and down to Trondheimsfjord, Norwegian, where they were shelled by German destroyers, and they were also ill-equipped to fight back. So they're like, you know, no matter where they run, they're getting attacked by someone.
Right.
So they was kind of starting to realize that this Norwegian campaign of this whole war was kind of like, it's basically going to end in failure. So they were again attacked by German ski troops this time, and the German Navy started to like surround them on the coast. And Adrian, he asked for a retreat, but they said like, no, hold your position. Like, you're fine for a bit. And he's like, well, that's dumb, but okay. So he did. He was very, like I said, he was very strict. He followed orders like a champ. And then after some like back and forth in London on like what they wanted he and his forces to do, they eventually came to the decision to evacuate them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, good news, right? Ideally, yes. But the ship that was supposed to come pick them up didn't arrive on the date that it was supposed to arrive. Oof. But fear not, because the following night they arrived. So they were only waiting like an extra 24 to 36 hours. Okay. And successfully evacuated Adrian and his forces. He made it back to British Naval Base on 5th of May, 1940, on his 60th birthday.
Yeah, that was his birthday. Yep. Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Turned 60 and had a taco. Hopefully.
That's my goal. When I turn 60, I want a taco.
Sure.
Thanks. After a brief break, they got word that Hitler was preparing to invade Yugoslavia, and the Yugoslavs requested help from the British. Adrian took a bomber to Serbia to negotiate their assistance to the Yugoslavian people, but both engines of this bomber failed. So Adrian and all those people that were on crew, they started, plummeting. Adrian was knocked unconscious, and once he landed in the water and everything, he woke up because the water was really cold. He's kind of shocked his system kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then they were forced to swim to shore. But while they were doing that, these guys can't catch a break. While they were doing that, they were captured by Italian authorities. So he was a prisoner of war from 1941 to 1943, and he was regarded as a high-profile prisoner just because of his reputation and rank.
And status,
yeah. He was transferred to a special prison for senior officers where Adrian made some friends.
Oh.
I have no idea what that's like, though. I don't make friends.
Wow.
He was noted by his fellow prisoners as a quote-unquote delightful character and that he, quote, must hold the record for bad language.
Really?
He was quite the profane man.
I mean, I don't really blame him considering how many limbs he's missing, and I guess not necessarily limbs, but
body parts.
Yeah. All of his ouchies. Yeah. His boo-boos.
I want a Band-Aid. There's that quote. Get this guy a Band-Aid. Or a title, I mean.
Yeah, seriously.
Just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, he was known. He just did it like,
Sure.
In his
Did you know that studies show that swearing alleviates stress?
Yeah, I did know that.
I don't know who studied that or how they came to that conclusion, but I believe them.
Some people say as well, there are some studies out there that say that people who swear, or like the most intelligent people, are like the most vulgar people with their language.
I don't necessarily believe that. Agreed. But if the studies say it, then the studies must be true, especially if it's posted on Facebook.
I don't know if it was on Facebook.
That was a joke. It was a joke that everything on the internet is true. Especially on Facebook.
There's that show Letterkenny?
Yes.
Do you remember that show?
Yes.
There's one part where it's just like, what's so smart about using big words? That just takes out like much more time to make your sentences. Like, isn't it much more smarter to say quick, short, to the point words? Make your sentence short.
Yeah. I have heard someone say, and I don't know how true this is, but it's stuck in my mind, sure. Is that that you have like extensive knowledge on something when you can teach it to a child.
Yeah.
Because if you know it well enough to, for lack of better terms, dumb it down for like a little kid.
Yeah.
Then you know it well, and you're a good teacher.
That reminds me of like a video, and I had that exact same thought that you were mentioning about like kind of not necessarily, I mean, for lack of better terms, like dumbing it down for your audience. There was one guy who was a visitor on the podcast. He's a scientist, and he's talking about like black holes and like even some like quantum scientific stuff in there, quantum mechanics or whatever. And like the way he explained it, I've mentioned this before. Like, I think space is so fascinating, but like I'm not smart enough with the science to like understand how it all works. But yeah, the way this guy was like explaining this stuff was like spot on. Like, I understood it. I'm like, I love this. Like, I love this guy. I can't remember his name. I could probably go back and look at it, but plus it's advertising another podcast, and who wants to do that? But anyway, moving on. So yeah, bad language. But Adrian, he was also, he amused many of them. He was kind of like not a class clown, but the prison clown.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he was also said to be very outspoken. Like, he made tons of friends while he was in there. Adrian made 5 attempts to escape, including 7 months of tunneling. He succeeded at one point, managed to make it 8 days disguised as an elderly Italian man, but he ended up being recaptured just because, like, 1, he didn't know the language. 2, he was missing a lot of body parts.
I was gonna say, how could you disguise yourself so like that people would recognize you when you are that many?
I don't know, but he managed to do it for 8 days. But then he was he was recaptured. Just too obvious that he wasn't who he said he was, or who he was trying to be.
Someone's like, this guy's a little sus. He looks just like that guy that's wanted, that's missing an eye and an ear and a hand.
But he's wearing a hat. Can't be him.
Adrian? What is it? With the hat? Oh, a man with missing limbs? Adrian, because he puts the hat on. It's like Perry the Platypus. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, I couldn't figure out how to like phrase that in a way that made sense, but you got it.
I got what you mean. So in August 1943, he was taken from prison to Rome, the Italians at the time were like trying to get out of the war, so they decided to make like Adrian that kind of liaison between like them and the Allied forces. So he accompanied the Italian negotiator, and he was released on 28th of August 1943.
Nice.
Ooh. After about a month in England, he was sent to China as Winston Churchill's representative during like the British request for China's help during the war.
Wow.
After a bit of waiting due to negotiations being unprepared and stuff like that, he arrived in China in 1943, and this is the same year, later in 1943. But for 3 years, he was part of the administrative and diplomatic duties in China, and gained an admiration for the Chinese people. Adrian was also kind of keeping an eye on like the communist developments and like reporting that back to England and stuff like that. He was noted to despise communists, like heavily despise them, which, you know, good for him. I agree. He had dinner with one of the communist leaders in China named Mao Zedong. Maybe that name rings a bell to some people. And from the sounds of it, he kind of like said to this guy that he was being kind of stupid for focusing on communizing China instead of fighting the Japanese. And this kind of took...
This guy's got guts.
Right? And this took Mao Zedong, like, kind of took him aback. And he's like, wait, hold on, what? And then he, like, just laughed it off. He just kind of funny.
Interesting.
In August 1945, the Japanese surrendered, and Adrian was invited to participate in the formal surrender and flew to Singapore. After the surrender and all that stuff went down, he visited Tokyo, and after that, he was ready to retire at 66 years old with honorary rank of Lieutenant General.
And only 66% of his body.
Yep. 66 is 66. Anyway, on his way home, Adrian stopped in Rangoon as a guest of the army commander. And when he was coming down the stairs, he tripped on a little bit of coconut flooring. And
Please tell me this is not how he dies.
He broke several vertebrae and was knocked unconscious. So no, he didn't die. He was treated at Rangoon Hospital. His wife died in 1949, you know, the one with the long name. He remarried in... Hold on. She died, 1949. He remarried in 1951, being 71 years old, and he married Ruth Myrtle Joan McKechnie, a.k.a. Joan Sutherland, in case that name rings a bell to some people.
Yeah, totally.
They ended up settling in a nice little area in Ireland. And Adrian... Yeah, Adrian. What I said Arian? Adrian. Adrian, I guess he's not unkillable because he did end up dying at the age of 83 on June 5th, 1963, and is buried with his second wife in Coombe Churchyard.
Second wife?
Yeah. Because he remarried.
Yeah, you said wife.
Second wife. In the Coombe Churchyard in Ireland. And that is the story of the Unkillable Soldier, a.k.a. Sir Adrian Paul Ghislaine Carton De Wiart.
Well, all things considered, he died of natural causes, so he was still unkillable.
Yeah. No, the nature killed him. Just kidding.
The Grim Reaper finally got him.
He came for him.
That's so crazy.
He had a crazy life. He just, like, besides his 15 years of retirement, like, just couldn't catch a break. He's busy.
Yeah, he had like this little oasis in between where he's like blissfully on 500,000 acres. And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, back into the meat grinder.
Some of this, like, I kind of picture my brother in some of these situations. Because my brother is also kind of that very, like, tenacious, like, hardworking, character. And so, like, a lot of these times I'm just like, that sounds like Matt. Because Matt wouldn't care if he lost a couple limbs. He'll just be like, I can still do work.
It's like I still got 7 of them. 7 fingers, I meant.
Yeah.
I still got 7 limbs.
Yeah. Anyway, just kind of funny.
That is crazy. Thank you for the story.
You're welcome.
Neat guy. I love this. I would have never known all that.
Yeah.
I was starting to think, like, this is the boogeyman of, like, the real world.
He's the John Wick of the world wars.
But John Wick didn't have as many visible injuries.
That's true. He just really had, like, cuts and stuff over his face.
No, seriously, like as you're
and
talking,
limped.
I'm like picturing like a bandage over his eye and like over his ear and like all these different things. Obviously, like some of the wounds heal and stuff, but then I like the more that he kept getting shot, I'm like, okay, so he's SpongeBob. Like he's an actual yellow sponge with holes all over his body.
See, look, right side